Hello, my name is Yvette,
I'm Jill.
And I'm Erin.
and we'll be discussing vitamin B12 and Alzheimer's disease. Vitamin B12 helps maintain healthy nerve cells and red blood cells. It is the largest and most complex chemical structure of all vitamins. B12 is sometimes called cobalamin because cobalt is part of the chemical structure, as you can see in figure 3. It is also a water soluble, however, it can be stored in the liver for years. B12 has many functions, but one of the most important functions is transferring homocysteine to methionine. First, cobalamin bound to methionine synthase picks up methyl from 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate, forming methylcobalamin. Then, methionine synthase releases the methyl group from methylcobalamin to transfer to homocysteine, changing homocysteine to methionine. Methylcobalamin goes back to cobalamin. Alzheimer's disease is a type of dementia that causes memory loss and decline of thinking skills that interfere with daily tasks. Over 5 million Americans living with the disease, becoming the sixth leading cause of death in the United States. It is caused by a buildup of homocysteine in the brain, denoted in yellow in figure 4. Can an adequate intake of vitamin B12 have an effect on Alzheimer's disease?
We found supporting research that indicates that it can. In a retrospective study, it compared serum levels of vitamin B12 and folate in participants with dementia versus healthy participants. The results, individuals with dementia had low levels of vitamin B12 compared with healthy individuals. In a longitudinal study, there was an analysis of association between total homocysteine and holotranscobalamin causing dementia and Alzheimer's disease with 228 non-demented subjects aged 75 years and up. The results showed that homocysteine is involved in the development of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. There was another study that analyzed the association between intake of B vitamins and cognitive function in elderly Koreans with cognitive impairment. The results showed that positive associations between vitamin B12 intake and cognitive function were observed in Alzheimer's disease group. Also, vitamin B12 and homocysteine are associated with cognitive function in the cognitively impaired elderly. In a randomized controlled study, an analysis of homocysteine lowering by B vitamins slowing the rate of accelerated brain atrophy and mild cognitive impairment were studied. The results showed a combination of 3 B vitamins, which includes B12, that targets homocysteine levels to slow down the accelerated rate of brain atrophy found in mild cognitive impairment.
Now let's discuss the research that found no connection between vitamin B12 status and Alzheimer's disease. In 2 different prospective cohort studies, researchers started with an older population that was free of any signs of dementia and followed them for several years. At the end of the follow-up period, both studies found no statistically significant differences in serum B12 status between the individuals who developed dementia and the individuals who did not develop dementia. Previous research has shown a relationship between elevated homocysteine levels and the incidence of dementia. Hoping to discover the best method for decreasing the risk of developing dementia, researchers in Scotland tested the theory that it's not simply a matter of elevated homocysteine levels, but also low antioxidant status that plays a role in the development of dementia. They took a group of individuals in their late 70s and assessed their nutrient intake and cognitive function. At baseline, roughly 9% of the participants were found to have mild cognitive impairment, but they did not meet the ICD-10 criteria for dementia. At the end of the 10-year follow-up period, about 30% of the 201 participants had developed Alzheimer's disease or a milder form of dementia. Researchers found that elevated homocysteine levels were associated with lower vitamin B12 and folate levels, but these factors were only associated with a non-statistically significant increase in the incidence of dementia. They also discovered that the individuals with higher levels of homocysteine had lower levels of antioxidants. They concluded that elevated homocysteine levels are a risk factor for late-onset dementia. However, they could not conclude that the association between elevated homocysteine and dementia is not attributable to poor general nutrition status. Silva and colleagues took a different approach in studying the link between vitamin B12 status and dementia. They took a group of about 300 older individuals with mild cognitive impairment and assessed their vitamin B12 status. Then they separated the individuals into two groups, those with a B12 deficiency and those without a deficiency. Then each individual underwent a neuropsychological assessment. Researchers found no statistically significant differences in the results of the neuropsychological test between groups. Both groups had a deficit in the same aspects of the test.
Caring for an Alzheimer's patient is a situation that can utterly consume the lives and well-being of people giving care, just as the disorder consumes its victims, which is currently now over 5 million. More research needs to be done on vitamin B12 effects on Alzheimer's disease. There is no conclusive evidence because research has not been done on just vitamin B12 alone, and other factors can affect Alzheimer's disease. With each new research, it is one step closer to a cure.